Welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 of building the solar kiln. So it's been some crappy weather. It's either been cold or really warm and raining, and of course the holidays were here. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Anyway, I'm back on this project. As you can see, all the snow is basically melted, so working in the woods has come to a halt. So back on the kiln. As you can see, I've got the sheathing on the front. It's not nailed off, it's just tacked in place. And I've got the house wrap on all 3 walls. And I'm kind of laughing because Brock's plywood building materials, this is a roll I've had for a while. Of course, they were bought out by some gigantic company and they don't exist anymore. So anyway, there'll be no more materials bought with Brock's plywood sales, which is a shame. They were nice family-owned business. Anyway, they sold out. So much for that. So what I'm doing is putting on the house wrap because I really want to try to keep the wind from blowing through. This is just going to be board and batten siding, and the wind will go right through that. I don't want that. I want the heat to stay inside the building. So put the house wrap on. There'll be fiberglass insulation on the inside, and something I've learned from my house is not to put plastic on the inside, but it's going to be so humid in there that I think I'm going to put plastic on the inside of the insulation on the warm side, and then some sheathing boards. So I think I'm going to set up the compressor, which doesn't like to run in the cold since it's a not an oilless compressor, and then see if I can get it to run and start nailing this off and putting up siding. All right, that is it for siding. Let's take a walk around here. So that's our siding for right now. You got as much as I can get, because I got to build a little stub walls before I can continue the sheathing. All the siding hangs down below all of the framing by 1 inch, so it'll help shed water away from the base. And the next thing I'm going to do is work on this the fascia here, figure out the width and cut a bevel on it. But before I actually install it, I'm going to put a piece running along the bottom here, then the fascia, and then the shiplap will slide up underneath the fascia a little bit. And it's all got to be flush with the top here, because the next step is going to be, after that, it's going to be putting on the plastic. And I think I'm going to try and get away without putting blocking down the centers. The other thing you'll notice is I haven't painted anything black. If you watch other videos, you see all this interior framing, it's all painted black. Well, it's just too cold out to be bothered with that. So I thought that I would put on the plastic and build the whole thing, and then go inside where it's nice and warm, hopefully, and then paint everything black. I know it's kind of backwards, but the weather dictates that I do it, in warmer weather, so, or on the inside. So there you have it. I'm going to work on fascia next. I'm going to put on some rakes, and then probably after lunch I'll start working on the plastic. I cut a little filler to go in under the bottom of the rafters, and that's 3/8 of an inch. Actually, it's 3/8 of an inch. That's what the rafters hang over the sheathing, and that's so that I can put the battens up. I'll make them 3/8 of an inch. They'll slide up underneath here, and this will act as a little drip edge. So right now, all I'm going to do is go through, put this up here, and nail it in place. Work my way down. And then we'll work on the rake boards. Well, that all looks way high. What the heck? If you sight down here, the bottom is perfectly straight. So I think the rafters are, some of them are all different thicknesses, but it's flush in the middle and both ends. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to trim up the house wrap, and the next step is to work on the rakes. All right, this is put you down here. This is what I came up with. This will go here. Then this 2-inch piece will go on top of it. And I ran it through the table saw, made a little rabbet so that the batten strips will go up underneath. All right, I'm just gonna cut the tails off here with a handsaw. And the reason why I did all of that is because the 4-foot sheet actually hangs over quite a bit. So I wanted to give it a little bit more support. Not really too worried about it, but it's just easy enough to add another inch of support on. That's why that's there. All right, I didn't film it, but we've put up the first 2 sheets. And what I didn't take into account was this piece that joins the 2 sheets together has at least 5/8 of an inch spacer in the middle, and that kind of misses. You know, the rafters were set up on so that 4-foot sheets would land perfectly. I didn't account for that, so if you're going to do this in the future, if somebody else out there is going to do this, you need to take into adding that distance, whatever, I think it's like 5/8 to the spacing. So the sheets will end up, these will end up in the middle of the rafters. But I think it's going to work. We put this one up. We had to actually move everything over so that we could get this one with the 5/8 gap. Hopefully that's going to work. And this one I had to shift over quite a ways to get it to work. All right.
No. Hold on.
All right. There's the piece behind us. I'll put a screw in here. But I'm gonna put another strip on the inside so I have some nailing. Yep.
How are you gonna get out of those other?
I don't know.
Tractor bucket?
No, probably, I don't know. Anyway, if anybody does this in the future, you definitely have to take into account the extra spacing on the piece that joins them, because it screwed us all up. I actually may end up cutting the overhang. It's kind of too much of an overhang. Yep.
Eye poker.
It's an eye poker. I pulled out these two beams out of the pile left over from beams that were sawn for the barn. It's nice to have them on hand. I don't have to go, yeah, it's just saving me a lot of time. And from these beams here, I'm going to be making the posts and the header that was going to frame out the back doors. And so these are going to be, this is going to be just sawn in half into, so it'll make two 4x8s. Those will be the posts. And this one here, it's a 6x8 now by 16. And I'm going to saw it down to 4x8. All right, I was lucky I had this stuff on hand, and even luckier that I have a sawmill to remill it to sizes that I need. All right, just gonna go measure the building exactly, and we'll cut this to the exact length. All right, this little notch that we just made is that the bottom of the beam, and the post will fit under here up to this. Now, why this little notch is here is the doors are going to be hung off of the, oh, you know what? I already did this wrong. It's not supposed to be 8 inches. It's only supposed to be 4 inches. I have to put a filler in here. Basically, the 4x8 post is going to sit on like this. And the door is going to be attached to it, and it's going to try to be pulling the top of the post over because of just the weight of the door and gravity. And there's going to be fastenings in here, but I want a shoulder for it to butt up against. So, first mistake of the day. All right, I figured I should probably let you in on what I'm thinking about for the door and these posts and all. If you imagine this as the back corner of the building, with this is going to be where the doors open up. The post, the 4x8 posts, the 8-footers are going to fit here on the corner, and they're going to actually hang over the building an inch. So actually, this is the corner of the building, and that's going to hang over an inch. And then the door frame itself is going to be made of 2-inch 2x4s, and so that, because I have 2-inch styrofoam that'll fit in there, it'll all match up. This is the width of the, I'll put this on here. The actual beam fits on top of here. The outside of the door is going to have a shiplap pine on it, and I don't know what I'll do on the inside of the door. And so the reason why this post hangs over, because I've got this hardware that's going to fit on here to support the doors, and the doors are probably actually going to start, you know, actually this is not right. The doors hardware is going to fit out here because the strap fits on here on the outside of the door. So I may need to move this post out another inch, 2 inches beyond the edge. This is just having to think about this before I get started on it. Anyway, got this stuff. Think it's going to work pretty good. All right, this is one of the posts, and I've been debating on how to join. We put a post on the corner there. How to join it to the other post. You know, I could just put some blocking in there and toenail it with nails, and I don't think that's going to be strong enough. I want it because these doors, which are huge, there's going to be a lot of pressure for them to, you know, swing away from the building or separate from the building. So what I'm going to do is actually notch in 2 places on the post and on the corresponding spots on the beam, and then I can put a cleat across there and nail it in, and it'll be a lot stronger than just toenailing it in from the end. So All right, that's what I gotta do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to do 7 more of these. They're just 2 inches square, and the 2x4 will fit right in there, and I could nail it off. Hopefully that's going to help tie this whole building together. All right, I put the post in. I put in 3 20-penny spikes at the bottom, and you can see this is what we end up with. I got to just cut a piece to fit in here. But the only important thing is that this is actually be plumb this way. So put the level on it. All right, so that's plumb. Of course, I don't have my tape measure. And let's get everything's in order here. So now I know that that's plumb. I can just measure the distance here. We'll cut this spacer. It happens to be exactly 13 inches. That fits on that side. There we go. It's gonna go in. Before I nail this in, I want to get this plumb in this direction. It's way off. All right, there we go. There's the frame for the door, the two doors, I think I'm actually going to put in some braces on there. Not so much to keep it from racking, but for the doors, to keep the doors. And there'll be door stops all the way around, but they'll also add some resistance when the doors close. The weather, this is just absolutely crazy weather. It's, what is it? 2 days away from the end of the year. So it's December 28th or 29th. Weather's like 45 degrees. All the snow is melted. It's turned into mud season around here. It's awful. I wish the ground was frozen. Now I'm wishing for some colder weather. It's just turned into mud season. And everything I drop, I touch, it's all ladders covered in mud. Anyways, complain. I will be back tomorrow to put the short rafters up, and that'll be the last day of filming for this episode. All right, there's one of 9 short rafters for the back of the building. All right, welcome to the top of the roof. I added this board on the ends of these other rafters I've already installed because I want to try to keep the heat in on that side. So if I didn't put anything in here, it'd be really hard later to seal this off. So you just saw me cut the rafters, and so that's how they fit, just like this. And I'm gonna put 1-inch bore, sheath it with 1-inch boards, and then I'm gonna see about putting ice and water shield up and over the top of this to try to get seal this all up today. So next step, put on all the rafters. All right, that is the end of this episode. Yeah, standing in this awful muddy mess. That end of that, the siding there, I'm going to deal with that. I got to figure out what I'm going to do because the post sticks out. I think I'm going to build the doors and then figure how to wrap that whole thing up. I still have got battens to saw, which I thought I was going to get to today. Saw those on the sawmill. Not going to happen. And can't really see it, but oh yeah, I guess you can. I'm going to go up there and sweep that off. I'm not going to film this, and roll out a thing of ice and water shield on there and flap it over the top a couple inches, and it will be waterproof. I thought I'd just try to get a shot of what the inside looks like at this point. I'm not sure if it's going to show up. A nice little overhang, and we're at a space between the main beam and the doors for the air to go up and around the stack of wood. So all right, thanks for sticking with me in this muddy mess. The next episode, I'm going to build the doors and the interior wall and put the battens up and kind of get everything, but probably won't get the solar fans installed because I haven't even ordered them yet. But we'll get closer to being finished next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Really getting close to the 1,000 subscriber mark, and could use all of your support. Spread the word. All right, thanks again. Stay safe.